Hey yo, you're growing a SaaS startup in a B2B space and people keep coming up with all these ridiculous objections and not purchasing from you. Great, because in this video I will cover exactly that. My name is Denis and I run a Private Accelerator SaaS camp. Before we dive in, if you are a B2B SaaS founder, we'll teach you how to get extra 20 qualified demos a month in 6 months or less, or we'll refund you in full at saascamp.co. Now, ideally, you should not be facing any objections. And you'll ask me, why so? Well, because if it gets to the objection handling phase, this means that you are doing something bad in your discovery. Ideally, you want to be running the discovery such a way that you counter all of this before you get into price. Objections are a result of a poor discovery. Because after you've done your discovery part, you should be an expert in the challenges they're facing. And if they believe and if they see that you understand every single challenge they're facing, usually this will allow you to run your demo perfectly, because you will be just hitting a jackpot after jackpot in all the issues that they're facing. Now, if you actually get to this objection handling part, as most of us do, still this is not the end, because you can counter all the objections you're facing. But what I want to explain to you is that no matter what objection it is, with enough creativity, any objection can be countered. I will cover the main 6, which are the most frequent ones, which we face with nearly every single B2B SaaS startup right now. You don't have this one feature. I cannot recall a single product which would not have this one objection. But from this day onwards, I'll make your life much easier, because I'll ask you, do you know any billion-dollar B2B SaaS startup that actually is perfect and has all the features? No, because the more features come, the more bugs they are. The more bugs means there's more work to do, and it keeps going as a vicious cycle. This means that you need to understand that your product will never be perfect and you will always be facing this objection. So all you need to do is to figure out how to counter it. I have yet to find a B2B SaaS that didn't face this one, and the key principle for overcoming it is to understand that your product will never be ready. The way you can counter this objection is to ask, okay, is it a deal breaker for you? Many times people will react that no, it's just a nice to have and not a deal breaker, and that's how they will in their mind admit that this is not such a crucial thing. However, there will also be situations when yes, this is a crucial feature for them, yes, you're an early stage product, and yes, you are missing it just because it takes a ton of time for you to ship it. So what do you do then? In such cases, the way you can handle it is you still can secure a prepayment from their side. You can tell them that, look, in case you complete the payment by the certain date, this feature will be ready in a few weeks max. If you want to put a bit more responsibility on your shoulders, you can give them a specific date when you are going to deliver this feature. Or you can just keep the vague a few weeks time frame. Such way, you can first validate that they truly need it, get money in the bank, and only after you validate that they truly need this feature, you can get into the production cycle and start shipping it. Otherwise, what you'll face 9 out of 10 times is that they say that you don't have this feature, you get your team to start building it, and after you spend a couple weeks, or as in my case with my startups, a couple of months, if not years, making this perfect and shipping this all, only to then find out that they will be ignoring you, or that they did not care as much and they just use this as an objection. You really don't want this to be happening, and the easiest way to prevent it is to collect the money, get them committed, and only after they are committed you go and build more code. Now, I'll have to run it by my marketing manager. You can replace this marketing manager objection with wife, husband, CFO, whatever you want. Basically, this objection is when someone tells you that they need to talk about it with someone, even if they are a decision maker. Good that they are a decision maker, but looks like that they still have concerns left. Here, it signals that you could have done your product demo better. Think how you can simplify it and break it down into more logical steps. That's called 3 pillars. To deliver 3 pillars effectively, ask them to confirm that they are following you after each step. What I mean here is that basically when you're doing your demo, you don't just do it as a monologue lasting 20 to 40 minutes as people do, but rather, okay, you've done your discovery, you understood their challenges, now you need to deliver the core value of your product by matching their challenges and pain points with the key features that you have which are solving this. For example, they face the problem with managing payroll, with compliance, and with assigning. You tell them that the way we manage compliance with our product is like this, the way we manage payroll is here, and this is how we assign tasks. tasks here. If you can match them correctly, usually they would not have this one objection and they would go, but it takes time and certainly sales skills for you to start finding this out perfectly. And what I mean here is, yes, do confirm with them during your demo process they are on the same page with you. So ideally you would do so well in your discovery that when pitching it, they will feel you build the product exactly for them. But now they say this objection that they have to go talk to this one other person. Few things you can do here. One is when you bring it up to them, what things may potentially frustrate them. Such a way you initiate this thinking process in their head. Basically, now because them having to cover this with another person means that they are not sold on something and they are frustrated. So by asking this question this certain way, you allow them to speak up and allow them to bring up what is frustrating to them. And if you can successfully get them open up about this, they will share all the unclarities. And if you comment on their frustrations perfectly, they may change their mind and purchase right there. Or if in case they say, well, I'm not sure about this and I'm not confident about that, not a huge problem because this happens often. What you need to do is make sure that you schedule a follow-up meeting with them and with this other person who they want to speak to, such way that you always want to have all the stakeholders in place, because otherwise they will be dragging you through all the stakeholders for years, and we don't want this to be happening. Then it's too expensive. It's never too expensive. It's always that they don't see value, ROI, when purchasing it. Overcome this one by demonstrating the value of your solution and the return on investment that it provides. Here you highlight the cost savings, increased efficiency, or revenue growth. Before you get on a call, clarify a measurable numeric outcome as your value proposition. When you hit the bullseye, they will feel stupid not to purchase. The numbers always speak louder. When you can tell someone that they will be saving a certain number of hours for this particular employee, what you can do is you take the payment, like the hourly wage of this employee, you multiply it by number of hours. Here is how much they're spending on it right now. Then you take 20 to 50% of that and you tell them that, look, by getting my solution, you'll be saving this many hours of this many people, and I charge you just 25% of that. This will be a no-brainer for them not to purchase from you. For instance, we help businesses revolutionize their accounting. Cool, but is your revolution worth $5 or $5 million? Now let's add some numbers here to make it into a converting value proposition. We help international Series A startups manage their payroll and compliance so that they can focus on growing sales team instead of hiring accountants. One person on a call was about to hire 3 bookkeepers, but you deliver the same outcome for 25% of the price. How can they not buy from you? Usually they do. This change alone helped us land that 18K deal with Octopus AR in their first week in the program, because when you do this value proposition part correctly, this it's too expensive objection. Even for example, if I hold this pen, it's, I don't know, $5 in price. If you have no thing to compare it with, of course it will feel expensive. But if you're comparing it with another pen, which is $100, you see everything is like can only be seen in comparison. Same thing applies here, and same thing applies to your B2B SaaS pricing. We're already using a competitor's solution. Look, if the competitor served them perfectly, they would not be on a call with you. So your role is to find what specifically they are not satisfied with. In enterprise sales, many times they will not be as transparent about it, and you'll have to find creative ways how to figure out, okay, what is actually they are not satisfied with the current supplier. Ask which solution they are using, and look, don't make this rookie mistake that when you hear a competitor's name, you immediately fall into this defensive mode and start rushing into, oh, they suck at this, they suck at that, they're awful here, how you dare be using them, this is the most awful product I've ever tried in my life, and so on. Don't do this such way. Because if you're in your defensive mode, this means you are strong, never have to defend themselves, because it usually doesn't happen. What's important here? Don't throw rocks at the competitor off the bat. The defensiveness shows you as weak. Instead, say what are 2 good things about an alternative and what are 3 spots that they are missing out on, which happen to be the frequent reasons why some of your existing customers changed over to you. If they're still leaning towards a competitor, you got to identify their decision-making criteria. And their decision-making criteria are the priorities according to which they are choosing the product. The way you identify them is that after you do the discovery part and you do the demo part, and they are coming up with this, oh, but this competitor that, this alternative that, you need to understand what is the factor upon which they are choosing the supplier. And for example, is it really the price? Is it really the number of case studies, for example? Is it the deliverables? The way you find it out is you come up with multiple examples and tell them, look, if you had this one option to go with a solution which is this much, but it's missing on this point, or you have an alternative that there would be a solution that's perfectly doing this thing, but is costing this much. Which one would you go for? And they will tell you, of course, we would go for the one which is slightly more expensive, but delivers on that. And by you coming up with 2 to 3 comparisons like this, you are able to identify their decision-making criteria, and then you can structure this in such a way that they favor your product, because you will be navigating them to put this decision criteria such favor that you're always putting your own advantages on top. Now, who have you worked with? If you come across this objection, this means they are not completely sold on your product. You can solve it by giving them a trial or showing a recorded interview with one of your happy users. If you keep facing this objection and you're at 0 users, at least leverage some social proof from your network. Alternatively, if you're in enterprise sales, you can consider doing the first deal with a heavy discount to get the ball rolling. I know that sucks and I'm usually against it, so do it only after 0 out of 10 deals close because of this one objection. Yes, when it comes to high ticket, of course, it matters who you worked with previously, and that's how you can leverage some of your friends you've built out throughout your career. That would help you land some initial sales. If not, then look, you need to come up with some ways of risk reversal, because I don't see how some company would just purchase a solution which is worth hundreds of thousands of dollars without you having any testimonials, without you having any prior connection with them or any relationship. The way you counter this is by lowering the risk. The way you reverse the risk is by giving them an extended free trial, by you illustrating more how your solution is going to tackle their pain points, going through the steps again, and basically adding some guarantees that in case you don't deliver on such promise, you don't charge them, and some other ways. Potentially, if they're like super hesitant, you can go even that not only they will get a refund, but they will also get some bonus in terms of compensation if you're completely sure that you can deliver on that. I will think about it, and this is the most classic one, because I have no idea what business owner has not faced this I will think about it objection. Again, these words mean that they are not sold on the process, ROI, deliverables, or one of 20 other things. That's why I prefer to do the price part at last, after you have gone through all the possible objections that they may have. You get them clear on the benefits first, ask if they are confident that your solution can help them, and then only then you transition to your price. Such way you are able to pre-handle all possible exit doors, and they have no option but to just say, yes, this is a perfect solution for us, just tell us what the pricing is. Then you'll be able to see that, okay, if something is wrong with the pricing and if it's a bit too expensive for them, then you can usually walk around it by giving them some payment plans or multiple other options. Note, if you're not providing a 5x to 10x ROI with your B2B SaaS, you might be one, selling to the wrong audience, or selling it with a wrong value proposition. As long as you're saving people 5 to 10 times as much money as you're charging them, as long as you are able to communicate this, you will be closing the deals. So if they give you this objection, you can address it. Great. So what would you like to think about? Well, I have to go through this situation again and get back to you 2 months from now. Nice. Can you share what do you believe will change 2 months from now? And after a couple seconds of thinking, they will just realize that nothing will change. Then you help them find out nothing will change after they think about it, and help them calculate how much money their business will lose till then. You always want to be building up the urgency by educating them on how much revenue their business will be losing by not going with your solution. If it's unclear how much their business will lose till then, you did a poor job of discovering what their pain is, costing them right now. If they are telling you time and time again that this is costing us $1 million a month, how can they not purchase the thing from you when you're charging them 10% of that, as long as they do believe that you can deliver? I see no potential reason. That's why, as long as they're sold on the fact that your product can deliver the result, usually you should be closing it here. And again, schedule the next meeting while on the call with them, and do that every single time until they send you money in the bank, and then you again schedule another meeting, which is going to be becoming an onboarding call in case you're in high ticket SaaS. Now, if you want to grow your B2B SaaS startup, check out my private accelerator SaaS camp at saascamp.co. We'll build you dynamic marketing systems, which we installed for more than 70 other startups. And if for some reason you won't add extra 20 qualified demos a month in 6 months or less, we'll just refund you in full. If you have any more questions, drop them down in the comments and I will just help you out there. Talk soon.